Many Sri Lankans are coming to India because of the current economic situation in the country. My question is, how will it affect India economically and socially? See, socially, there's not. So, how will it affect India? As long as the influx of refugees is small, it's not a problem. India can absorb a few dozen refugees, maybe a couple of hundred refugees or something like that, maybe even a few thousand refugees. But if it becomes large numbers, like thousands of people coming in, that becomes a problem for the local economy, because who's going to feed these people? They will need accommodation, they will need to be fed temporarily, however long they stay in India, and so on. So that's going to be a burden, a stress on the Indian economy. It can be handled for a certain period of time, but if it becomes a long term phenomenon, then it becomes a problem. It becomes a strain on the Indian economy. We are not a dharamshala. Actually, we are. That's what we have been turned into. Anyway, that's a different story. So, if there are too many refugees coming in, then it could become a problem. It could become a strain on the local economy. They would come into Tamil Nadu. Where else will they go? Because that's the geographical region where that abuts Sri Lanka. Let's look at the map in case you are not aware. The place they would come to, the closest place to Sri Lanka is Dhanushkodi, Rameshwaram, which is parts of Tamil Nadu, right? So that's where they would come. So it would become a stressor on the local economy. And if there is economic stress, there is social stress also. So that's the only thing. Apart from that, the cultural factor is not an issue. The culture is the same, whether it's the Sinhalese culture or the Tamil culture. Culturally, it's the same. And mostly, I imagine it would be people from northern Sri Lanka, which means the Tamil people would come in. So what needs to be done is that India needs to happen, that the situation in Sri Lanka doesn't go out of control. I think it's going to be up to India to kind of rebalance and stabilize Sri Lanka to some extent. And it's going to be best for India and for Sri Lanka as well if India intervenes and doesn't let China or some other country intervene, because then the Sri Lankans will have to pay a heavy price um, for whatever aid they get. Right. So that's what I can say. So I hope this refugee thing doesn't become a big factor, and I hope that the situation is brought back under control soon.